So the goalkeeper position has been a big topic of conversation at Manchester United for a long time now. Pretty much ever since David De Gea's form started to decline just a little bit before then eventually being sold. Now of course we signed Andre Onana, but his form hasn't convinced and now he's picked up an injury. It's not helped by the fact that Altay Bayindir isn't really good enough, leaving a lot of fans wanting a brand new sparkling goalkeeper to come into the football club. But perhaps we don't actually need to go and take players from different clubs. Maybe we've already got a solution at Manchester United. Potentially Vitek could be the solution. So Vitek is still an incredibly young goalkeeper. He started his career in the Czech Republic before at the age of 16 making the move to Manchester United. Since then he has had two very successful loan campaigns, one with Accrington Stanley and one with an Austrian side that I'm not going to try and pronounce just because you guys know my pronunciation is terrible. But the important thing there is he has had two very successful loan campaigns. That's right, Manchester United, not once, but twice, have got him good loan moves where he's actually managed to perform at a very decent level. Last season was particularly successful for Vitek. Playing in the Austrian league, he managed a save percentage of 72.1%. So with the 111 shots that he faced on target, he was able to save 80 of them. Now of course this number doesn't consider where the shots were coming from or the quality of the shots, but just generally speaking as a number, it's not bad, it sounds pretty good. In terms of Vitek, what he is as a goalkeeper, he's massive. He's just under 2 meters tall, so he's roughly 6'4". He is an absolute giant. Now, of course, being such a tall goalkeeper is going to help him in a couple of areas of key goalkeeping fundamentals. For example, cross-claiming. How often do we talk about the need for a goalkeeper to be dominant, to be aggressive, and to take the pressure off of his centre-backs? Let's say in the 90th minute, the opposition have got the ball in the corner flag, they swing across into the box. You need your goalkeeper to come out and take the pressure off your defenders. It's a defender's dream when a goalkeeper is able to do that. Vitek standing at 6'4", you would imagine would be able to do that. And from what I've seen, I think he seems fairly convincing. Of course, there is always that question of moving then to the most physical league in the Premier League, for example. Is Vitek good enough for that level? We don't know at this moment in time, but generally speaking, I think his cross-claiming is pretty strong. He also uses his frame really well in 1-versus-1 situations. So what he will do is he will rush out towards an opposition forward, but make himself massive. So he reduces the angle by moving towards the ball, but then because he's giant, it's really difficult to squeeze the ball past him. He's such an intimidating presence. This guy just running at you, closing the angle down, must be kind of terrifying for the opposition forward players. Something else that I like about Vitek is his ability to quickly get up after having made a save, and we don't always associate this with big goalkeepers, but we will often see Vitek making the initial reflex save before then quickly getting back up to spring on top of the ball for the second save. Now of course, if we turn that on its head and look at it from the other side, you could argue that he is parrying too many shots if we are seeing regular double saves. But of course, not every shot is catchable. Sometimes you do have to make 2, maybe even 3 saves in quick succession. And that is something that Vitek has done well throughout his career. Even in the Manchester United Academy at a young age, he was showing this trait. Now, another thing that we need to consider, particularly with the modern day goalkeeper, is ball playing and distribution, which basically means playing out from the back with passing. So sometimes that will be short passing, looking to evade pressure and play through the first phase. Sometimes it'll be sending it long, going over the opposition high press. This is a part of his game that Vitek has struggled with since he first moved to Manchester United. And even now, he is far from the master of ball playing, should we say. He is far from that. This is not his biggest strength. But importantly, he has been steadily improving. I do think he's getting better on the ball. Now, I would be lying if I told you guys I've watched hundreds of hours of this guy playing, but I've watched a few games from each of his seasons at Manchester United, and I'm seeing steady growth. I do think he is improving on the ball, and I think he's confident enough to take the ball. I think he's got the personality to ask for the ball in deep positions. Sometimes he actually just lacks the pure technical trait. I don't know that he will ever be a goalkeeper that in the first phase is incisive and sort of fizzing passes into a central midfielder. But from what we've seen from Ruben Amorims since he's been at the club, he hasn't really asked for that. So maybe Vitek would be a good fit. In terms of his longer range passing, I actually think he gets good distance, and the areas that he's picking out generally tends to be pretty good. And with Manchester United trying to sign more physical forwards this summer, that could be something that actually works quite nicely. The other thing that I like about Vitek is also his mentality. Now, this is something that is very difficult for us to gauge from the outside looking in. A player might look confident with the way that they walk, but we don't always know what's going on in training or even inside their brains. But what we can sometimes rely on is quotes from coaches, and I think this one is really interesting. This is from the Manchester United goalkeeper coach, talking about Vitek essentially being an example to the rest of the young goalkeepers at the football club because of the way that Vitek handles himself, how he puts an emphasis on not only performance on the pitch, but also off the pitch to make himself the best player that he can possibly be. If we're looking for a personality that can stand out from a crowd, that's what you're looking for. Someone who wants to improve themselves, who does things in their own time, with analysis work as well as just catching the ball on the football pitch. So I think that's a good sign from Vitek. Someone that is hardworking, wants to improve, he seems mature. Those are sort of the things that we want from a goalkeeper, as well as the confidence. Now, if we are being completely honest with ourselves, everything that we've discussed so far today looks good. That is what we want from a goalkeeper. But also, in a sense, in the modern day, it is sort of the bare minimum requirement. A goalkeeper isn't going to make it to a good level if they don't have these things. And I think realistically, what Vitek needs now, after having a couple of loans, is an opportunity. He had one last summer against Rosenborg in pre-season. You guys may remember this match, you may not, because it was pretty terrible. But something that was memorable was Vitek's performance. He was by far Manchester United's best players. He made some huge saves to actually keep United in that game, despite the fact that we eventually lost. Been a long, long year, hasn't it? But yeah, in that game, Vitek absolutely took his opportunity with both hands. He put in a brilliant performance and really should have been on the winning side because of the way that he played. What he now needs to do is the same thing this summer. I would imagine he is going to be given a chance in pre-season. I would be amazed if he doesn't start at least one match, simply because that's what you do in pre-season. You give these players an opportunity. So I am expecting Vitek to get an opportunity at some point. What he needs to do is take it with both hands. Just like he does with those crosses that come into the box, he needs to go out and claim this opportunity, make it his own. Because I think he has the traits. He's tall, he's strong, he's physical. He's confident and dominant claiming crosses in the air. He uses his massive size to smother angles in 1-versus-1 situations, but also has the reflexes to get up for a double save. Yes, his passing game needs a lot of work, but I'm seeing improvement, and improvement for me is always such a great thing to have in a young footballer. So I think Vitek deserves his opportunity. I hope he takes it well. Is he going to be in the conversations for the Manchester United #1 spot next season? I wouldn't think so. I would be surprised. He hasn't even played as high as championship level yet. So I would imagine next season that may be his next loan move, to go off into the championship, to get a bit more experience in a more physical league, to again get used to it and to grow as a player. But what we've got to remember with goalkeepers is they don't need to peak so early. Goalkeepers don't tend to peak at 25 like outfielders. It's more in their late 20s towards their early 30s. So Vitek has plenty of time, but right now he may just have an opportunity. And who knows, if the performances are good enough, if he really shows us something special, then he might get himself into the Manchester United first team. So what I would say is good luck to him and to you guys. Enjoy watching him. It's another chance to watch an academy graduate at Manchester United, which we always enjoy seeing. He's featured in the past 2 pre-seasons. This one may be the one, though, where he just takes that next step into the squad. Will he? I don't know. I can't predict the future. We are just going to have to wait and see. So for today's video, there is nothing else to talk about. So, yeah, that is that for today. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a like, subscribe, and also turn notifications on, and also leave a little comment in the comment section down below, basically talking about the channel, Manchester United, Vitek, whatever you fancy. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.